Hi, welcome back. Spec is there like, where are my liver treats? I love liver, plus it's good for your blood. So here we go. So yesterday I went to a writing workshop and participated in a session with an author, Jane Wong. In her opinion, memoir is questions without answers. You know, the writer is trying to get at their emotional truth, and sometimes speculation is a tool for that. So it's all part of memoir. Speaking of yesterday, I was in a t-shirt. Now today in the sweater, but you know, that's Oregon for you. So a follow-up to the end of the last video. So now most people can get my chart on their smartphone, and it's so great because when I've gone to the emergency room with my husband, we'll get the test results before the doctor can come in, because you know they're dealing with a bigger crisis than what we're going through. So there's lots of good info. The other thing you'll find is notes and summaries. So it's really great, and you can plot out like your test results over time. It's just a nice little option in their menu. So now on to part 2 with hints and advice. So this section is legal insurance. I think this is going to be more about insurance. Here we go. So during his cancer treatment, the health insurance we had was provided by a terrific government program called Women in Transition. It's mainly offered through community colleges, so go and check it out at the resources. And it's not just like you have to be a young person to do it. I was in my 40s, so as long as you qualify for the program, you're in. In my instance at the time, I had to take 3 credits a term, and that was definitely much cheaper than paying for the COBRA that we had from my previous employer. Because remember, we had just moved across the country, so we were using COBRA. So now we're 7 years in. He has the spinal pain. Prior to electing surgery, he went to try something different, a naturopath. Unfortunately, most of them are not covered by insurance, which really stinks because the Eastern and Western alternative, it's all helpful if it's available. So he tried juices, smoothies, he went on the ketogenic diet. There's many options out there when you're doing your research. Do what is right for you. In his case, didn't work, no problem. So we sought a second opinion. And we're told that we needed someone who could do the spinal surgery in their sleep. So big specialty clinic, here we come. You know, across the country, there's the Loma Linda Institute in California, specializing in cancer. There's the lupus at Johns Hopkins on the East Coast. There is another big spinal clinic in California. So if you have those options, check them out. There's a big clinic that specializes in rare and unknown diseases. There's a lot of stuff out there. It just takes a bit to wade through. So back to insurance. So I called the insurance because we didn't just want to book an appointment and be surprised. And they're like, oh yes, you can go there. We cover that. Okay? On a recorded line. That is going to be important down the line. I got this info on a recorded line. So, but you know, there's a problem, and we're going to hear about that in the other chapter. And these chapters should be called How Insurers Try Not to Pay, or How Insurance Companies Lie to Their Members. Another alternative thing is why Luigi did the horrible thing he did to the United Healthcare executive. Again, never, never, never. That is not, violence is not the solution, but people are so pushed to the edge when they're denied, they don't understand why, they're suffering. It is tragic. So meanwhile, tensions were popping up in our relationship. My partner is convinced he'll be paralyzed. I'm convinced he'll be permanently incapacitated anyway if he doesn't get the surgery. So we're kind of, at heads. So he's getting weaker. So I reach out for therapy. We found it was so hard to get someone, even if you were able to pay out of pocket. Be persistent. I know it's so sad and heartbreaking that when you're feeling your most vulnerable, you have to be persistent, but do. And now there's like better options. There's better health out there. Never used to, can't say from experience, but there's more options out there. When you find a provider, you can look for them in the back of Psychology Today on Psychology Today's website. They'll talk about their specialty, insurances they take. It's a really great resource. But if money's an issue, ask if they can work on a sliding scale. We could never afford the full price without insurance. And we've been thankful that professionals have worked with us. Remember, no matter what medical institution you go to, speak with their financial department. Stretch out those medical payments as long as you can. Ask about debt forgiveness programs. If you don't open your mouth, you don't know what they offer. Medical debt is a whole other animal. Comedian John Oliver did a whole show about it. So more about this in the elder section, but you'll find the John Oliver clip in the comments. I'll link to it. So years later, you come in and out of like crisis in relationships. It's only natural. People are people. We found out that insurance won't pay for couples counseling. WTF? We were lucky. We were seen together. I assume that the practitioners just viewed our spouse, no matter which person was like header on the insurance, as a guest in the therapy section. Again, we feel fortunate that practitioners worked with us. So apparently the issue is, whose insurance can you bill? It's always about money. Can you bill one? Can you bill both? Oh my gosh, is this real? Is this where health insurance is? So 2 days, jumping back in time, remember I told you I'm a little scattered that way. So we're back pre-spinal surgery. So 2 days before we fly to the Midwest, we actually had an appointment with a therapist. There are many different categories, as you know, psychologists, LSWs, MSW, counselor, therapist, all kinds. So truly, I have no idea how one session was gonna help us, but truly, we were so desperate. So we took the appointment. So the counselor knew that my hubby had a physical issue, yet still had her dog in the session. Then the canine jumped on him. She told, and like, what? And then she told us, your life's a shit show right now. So of course you're feeling out of sorts. It's only normal. Thank you. I think our friends told us that for free. So grasping for straws during this session, I kept asking, since we can't see you till we get back, I was just lying. There's no way in hell I was going to come back and to this person. But I just wanted something out of this mess. So I kept on saying, can you recommend a book? I was like a broken record. Something we can take with us. Something for me to read on the plane. I was like a dog on a bone. Finally, she tossed a crumb. There's a marriage institute in Seattle, Washington. Gottman. Get the books. She especially recommended the 7 principles for making a marriage work. Boom, our time was up. Session over. I said, hold your dog on the way out, will ya? You always wish things would go smoother. So many times they just don't. And you roll with it. Oh, during this time, I mentioned that I broke out with shingles. I was too young to qualify for the cool new 2-shot vaccine, and actually it wasn't available back then. So now I'm sounding old again. But oh my gosh, forget the itching. Just like the hubby, I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't get in a good position like he couldn't. The rash was on my hip and trunk. The viral infection, only breaks out on one side of your body. Underwear, no, ouch. Dresses burn, shorts or pants, out of the question. Everything irritated my blistered body. We were both about to rip out each other's throat. So once we arrived at our destination, stunning August thunderstorms, just like our moods. We're going to be there for a while. So how to cheer up the hotel room? In the hospital gift shop, I noticed cute little decorations that would adhere to windows. They were birds. They're so happy, colorful, avians. They just cling to the glass. When we went home, we took them with us. The one's still on our front window as I write this. Remember that when a patient is stuck in an unpleasant situation, and it'll be a while, do your best to get some simple things to make their space happier. Yours too. I mean, those birds, we look out and see the thunder coming in and look at the cute avians. So who knows if we're stubborn or dedicated or fools in love. When we got back after the second surgery, we tried counseling yet again. Hey, but we're still married, so 22 years, so that says something. We just watched a video. We hadn't seen it in 22 years. Someone just found it in their collection. We're so innocent and young. So back to the consults. You can do consults for a flat fee to see if you connect with that particular therapist. And then you can see if they'd work on a sliding scale, because you're not going to match with everyone. That's just the reality of life. We walked into this practitioner's space, tell our story. She promptly says, our reactions are normal for what we're experiencing. If we didn't have some tension at this point in our life, I think we have heard that already. Then she goes on to ask how we met. He always loves to tell the story that we're living in New York City and that I'm his war bride, because we met right after 9/11. This therapist then has an aha moment. She says all our issues are from unresolved trauma from witnessing 9/11. Yes, it was traumatic. Mind you, we witnessed it separately before we ever met. No matter, she is the cure. We weren't ready to be cured by her, but other people we know have had success with EMDR. Sometimes it's called the flashing light method for trauma healing. This method is often used for post-traumatic stress disorder. Most time, and it's not covered by insurance. Frowny face. If only more things were covered by insurance. But the point is, look at all the options. I know many people that have been helped by the flashing lights. Many people have been helped with things that may sound out there to you, but if it works for you, that is the most important thing. Which leads us to our next section, support/writing. Friends, you need friends, as many as possible, and ask them, have you been through this? How did you cope? What did you do to get through? Because everyone says the only way is to go through. It never seems like that's the right option, but we certainly can't go backwards, can we? Then you ask your friends, do you know anyone else who's been through this? During this time period, we were very active with an arts gallery. When we wanted help, people coordinated lots of helping hands, later meal train, along with Caring Bridge. Whatever works, use it. People love Facebook groups, group chats, group text chats. However you're going to communicate the information or get help for your loved one, do it. Make it easy. So if you have any religious affiliation, reach out. People from my synagogue brought us meals once we returned home. It was so wonderful. Not only touching, but holy cows. We really couldn't function, so to have food in the freezer or fridge, lifesaver. Now it's even easier to help people. You can send meal cards or gift certificates to restaurants so you don't even have to worry about allergies, or if you're busy but want to lend a hand, you don't have the extra burden of cooking food and delivering it. Meal cards, DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever service, they're godsends now. Technology has made it easier to lend a helping hand. So we go back to writing, as I talked about at the beginning of this video. So right before the spinal surgery, I was registered for a workshop. I was a week away, but my terrific partner urged me to go. Like, it was a full week being away from him. I wasn't clear. Oof. I have to work on clarity. So, but he wanted me to go. He said, we don't know what our life's going to be like later, so please go and do something for yourself now. And it was close enough, if there's an emergency, I could get back and get him help quickly. I was very thankful for that slight mental relief. I'm sure I was such a mess to the fellow members at the retreat, but what I remember most is the love from the other creatives when they heard of what lie in store in our near future. Speaking of writers, when my partner was being wheeled into the room, when we were out of state, I was on the phone with my Writing Through Grief gals, getting ready to read them the beginning of My Faux Husband. Those women did their best to keep me sane. It was a daunting task. I'm always so thankful for that, which kind of leads us into spiritual. So even when you're out of town, you can seek out whatever faith-based organizations that comfort you. In my case, it was Chabad. It's a worldwide outreach for Jews of every denomination. And it's something that I researched beforehand because I knew that I didn't know anyone where we were going. And as I talked about before, always believe in the power of prayer. I don't care who's praying for you, what faith is praying for you, take the prayers. And if something went south, I wanted someone to turn to. So the Rebbetzin from Chabad showed up with chicken soup for my husband and broth for me since I was gluten-free. It was so thoughtful. And you'll hear more about the benefits of the hospital chaplain, no matter what belief. You don't have to believe anything. And the chaplain will show up and offer support. They're not going to force anything down your throat. They are truly just there to support. Okay, more about this in other chapters. The grateful section. I was so grateful for a friend who stated she would have come with me. Unfortunately, her husband was going through cancer treatment at the time. We were in different places experiencing similar realities. Isn't that all part of life? Everyone's doing their best, and no one's immune from trouble. But remember, you aren't alone. Another friend said if things went south, she'd be there in a minute. Truly believed her. And I was so thankful. Like, just knowing that, it sounds so corny, but it warms your heart and it does relieve your mind. It really does. It's like, okay, people care. People are sending good vibes. That is so comforting. So the mantra, cultivate community always. And whatever you're interested in, whatever you belong to, you make that extra effort to say hello to someone, to go out for coffee after. Make those connections so when crises hit, you have support. We're going to end on that note. So as usual, there'll be a music playlist in the comments and all the footnotes too. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with those who need it. The question of this video is, what was the most important lesson that you learned? Next time will be chapter 5, my brother's health illnesses. And as we said, oh, he's going to cough. Oh, look. Is there anything wrong with you? A little maybe barfy on air. Spec says, see you later. Me too. Bye.